in fact, excuse my foot, but I had an injury on my leg here. In fact, I'm not looking where I'm going and fell down some stairs and on that area. I put a poultice on it, and then after a few days it was great. I've got a dent there now. Now let's fast forward 10 years later, and we've got an automatic car. And Michael got a new car for around the property, and it was gear. And I'm used to gear. But what happened was I'm changing gears all the time, and we're going up the hill, down the hill, round the corner, stop at this place, stop at this place. And you're using the gears an enormous amount. And that leg started to get painful. And it just got painful. And I got my son Peter to have a look at it because he's done massage. And he said, "You had an old injury there." I said, "Actually, I did." So see, you've got a few threads here, an old injury, and then using my leg in a way that I don't usually, so I overworked that leg because I was doing the clutch a lot, and then that tipped the scales.
There's a quiet street in the heart of Kyoto where the world's oldest practicing doctor once began his morning, not with medicine, but with movement. At 97, he would step out into the soft light of dawn, take a deep breath of crisp mountain air, and begin his day with 3 simple leg exercises that, as he used to say, keep the mountain inside me alive. For decades, he served his patients with steady hands and clear eyes. But when asked about the secret behind his own longevity and his ability to still climb stairs, he would smile gently and say, "It's not magic, it's maintenance." If you've ever stood at the bottom of a staircase wondering whether your knees will support you, if you've hesitated before stepping down from a curb, or felt that wobble that reminds you your legs aren't what they used to be, please stay with me through this, because this conversation might just change how you move through the rest of your life. You see, when our legs weaken, it's not just about the muscles, it's about independence, freedom, and confidence. And yet the wonderful truth is your body is still capable of healing, rebuilding, and strengthening itself, even after 60, 70, or 80 years of life. So let's take this journey gently together. By the end, you'll know the only 3 leg exercises you truly need. The same ones that help Japan's oldest doctor climb his stairs every morning with the grace of a man half his age. Before starting any new supplement, herb, or exercise, please consult your doctor, especially if you have any existing health conditions or are on medication. Move within your comfort range, and remember, gentle, consistent movement is more powerful than pushing your body too hard.
So he said, "Come over every night, Mum, and I'll work on it." Well, he was so painful. He said, "Just breathe, Mum, just breathe." He was going to break it up. And so after a couple of sessions of that, I said, "Peter, I'll do it my way." So I made a castor oil compress. And I wore it 24/7, morning, noon and night. And I wore that compress for a couple of months, and I don't hear anything from that leg anymore.
The hidden power beneath your feet. Let's begin by understanding something most people overlook. The true foundation of your body's balance and strength lies not in your knees or your thighs, but in your feet. Every step, every climb, every movement starts there. Over time, as we sit more and move less, the small stabilizing muscles in the feet and lower legs begin to weaken. You might not notice it at first. Perhaps your slippers feel looser or your steps feel heavier. But gradually, that subtle change begins to travel upward, affecting your knees, hips, and even your back. The Japanese longevity culture teaches that health begins at the feet. That's why their elders often practice something called ashi no keizoku, continuing care for the feet. It's a daily reminder that if the foundation is strong, the house will stand steady. The first exercise I'll share with you focuses on this foundation. It's gentle, it's safe, and it's something you can begin today, even while sitting in your chair. But before we start moving, I want you to understand why it matters so much. You see, the leg isn't just a collection of muscles, it's a marvelous chain from the toes to the calves, from the calves to the thighs, and finally to the hips. When one link weakens, the others strain. That's why climbing stairs can suddenly feel difficult, not because you've aged, but because the chain isn't communicating the way it used to. The good news is you can rebuild that chain, not with pain, not with complex machines, but with small, consistent movements that wake those muscles again, just as that Japanese doctor did each morning in the quiet rhythm of his life. Exercise 1, the chair heel lift, awakening the forgotten muscles. Sit comfortably on a sturdy chair. Keep your feet flat on the ground, your hands resting lightly on your thighs. Now slowly lift your heels off the ground while keeping your toes down. Hold for a moment, then lower them back gently. It might feel simple, but this little movement is a miracle in disguise. When you lift your heels, you're activating the soleus and gastrocnemius, the two key muscles of your calf that act as the heart's second pump. Every time they contract, they push blood upward, improving circulation and oxygen supply to the legs. For seniors, this gentle movement helps relieve swelling in the ankles, improves stability, and teaches the body how to bear weight again with control. Now, here's something interesting from modern science. Researchers at the University of Missouri found that this simple soleus push-up can dramatically improve blood sugar regulation and increase muscle endurance, even when done while sitting. Isn't that remarkable? But what's even more powerful is the feeling it brings after a few weeks of practice, that warmth in the calves. That's your blood flowing, your cells awakening, your foundation strengthening again. I always say, never underestimate the quiet exercises. They are like the roots of a tree, invisible but essential. So start with this for a few minutes each day, perhaps while reading or watching television. Over time, your ankles will feel lighter, your steps steadier, and your confidence returning with every gentle lift. A story from the mountains of Nagano. Let me share a small story here. In Nagano, a mountainous region of Japan known for its long-living elders, there's a woman named Aiko who still walks up the hill to her tea garden every morning at the age of 88. When asked how she manages the climb, she laughed softly and said, "I walk before I need to." What she meant was she keeps her legs ready even when there's no immediate reason to. She practices these same heel lifts every morning while brushing her teeth. 2 minutes, she said, that's all. But my legs remember, and that's the wisdom I want you to take away. You're not just doing exercises, you're teaching your body to remember strength. Now that we've awakened the lower leg, we move to the next layer of the chain, the thighs and hips. Many seniors lose confidence not because their muscles are weak, but because their balance system isn't communicating well with their body anymore. The inner ear, the eyes, and the feet, these three are constantly talking to each other to keep you upright. But if one goes silent, the others struggle to compensate. So the next exercise focuses on restoring that communication, rebuilding both muscle coordination and joint stability. It's simple, and again, it can be done safely at home with just a chair.
Any part of the body that has lost feeling, and sometimes stroke victims have lost feeling in maybe arms, maybe legs, you apply the cayenne pepper compress. We had one man, and he was in his 80s, he just lost a leg because he'd lost feeling in the leg, so they took the leg. And he was starting to lose feeling in the other leg. So we made the biggest cayenne pepper compresses we'd ever made. We made them about this long, and we wrapped it round and round and round his leg. And we also put one on the bottom of his foot. And it started to bring life back into his leg. How nice.
Exercise. 2, the standing knee lift, reconnecting strength and balance. Stand beside a sturdy chair or the kitchen counter, resting one hand lightly for support. Keep your posture tall, shoulders relaxed. Now gently lift one knee upward as though you're marching slowly on the spot. Hold for a second, then lower your foot softly back to the ground. Alternate between both legs, moving at a calm, steady pace. This exercise, dear friends, might look simple, but it teaches your brain and body to talk to each other again. It wakes up the hip flexors, strengthens the thigh muscles, and improves your ability to lift your legs, which is exactly what we need when climbing stairs. Now, here's why it's so valuable for people over 60. As we age, the muscles that lift our legs, particularly the iliopsoas and quadriceps, tend to weaken from years of sitting or limited movement. This weakness is often what causes that heavy feeling when we try to climb a step or get up from a chair. The body isn't broken, it's simply forgotten what to do. So when you lift that knee, even just a few inches, you're reminding those muscles how to respond again. It's a beautiful retraining of movement. And for balance, this is golden, because each time you lift one leg, your brain has to adjust, stabilizing your entire body on the other. That's how your nervous system relearns coordination. I remember once speaking with an elderly gentleman who told me, "I feel my age most when I go upstairs." We practiced this very movement for a few weeks, slow, controlled, mindful. Within a month, he said, "Barbara, I don't grab the railing like I used to, and I trust my legs again." And that's what this exercise gives you, not just strength, but trust. If you're doing this right now, you might notice a little tremble in your thighs or a gentle warmth spreading through your hips. That's good. That's your body waking up, rebuilding those forgotten pathways that support your mobility and independence. You can begin with 10 slow lifts on each leg, resting when you need to. Even if you only manage 5 today, you've started something remarkable. The Japanese call this Kaizen, the art of small, consistent improvement. Every step counts. The science of stability. Balance isn't only about muscle, it's deeply connected to your inner ear and your nervous system. Studies from the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology found that older adults who practice daily single leg balance exercises for just 1 minute a day reduced their risk of falling by nearly 30%. But what's even more interesting is how the body adapts. When you practice lifting one leg, your brain strengthens its ability to predict movement. This improves your reaction time, making it easier to catch yourself if you stumble. So when you're practicing your standing knee lifts, remember, you're not just training your legs, you're training your balance reflexes. You're helping your brain and body reconnect in harmony. And the key is patience. The doctor from Japan who inspired today's lesson used to tell his patients, if you give your body time, it will repay you with balance. So give it time. A few minutes every morning, perhaps before breakfast, is enough to begin rebuilding that precious sense of stability. Now that we've strengthened the lower legs and reconnected the balance between the hips and brain, it's time for the third and most powerful movement. And this last exercise is the bridge between strength and daily life. It's the one that helps you climb stairs, get out of a chair without support, and walk longer distances with ease. But before we go there, let's pause for a moment. Place your hand over your thigh or your knee. Feel the warmth. That's not just heat, that's life flowing through your muscles. That's oxygen, energy, renewal. Your legs are not old, they are simply waiting to be reawakened. Exercise 3, the sit to stand, reclaiming strength and confidence. Now for this final movement, you'll need a sturdy chair, one without wheels, preferably against a wall, so it doesn't move. Sit comfortably, feet flat on the ground, about shoulder width apart. Cross your arms gently over your chest, or if you need extra balance, place your hands lightly on the edge of the chair. Now slowly stand up, press through your heels, keep your chest lifted and rise until you're fully upright. Then lower yourself back down gently, feeling control all the way. It might seem basic, but this movement is one of the most powerful tests of strength and longevity. In Japan, doctors often use a version of this test to measure a person's biological age, how old their body feels, not just how many years they've lived. Each time you stand up, you're training nearly every major muscle group in your lower body. your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and calves. More importantly, you're retraining your neuromuscular coordination, the body's ability to respond quickly and safely when moving from sitting to standing or from one step to the next. Now, if it's difficult at first, don't worry. You can start by using your hands for light support or practicing partial stands, lifting halfway, then sitting back down. What matters most is consistency and control, not speed. The stair connection. Let's connect this movement to your daily challenge, climbing stairs. When you climb a stair, you're essentially performing a one-legged sit to stand. The same muscles that lift you from the chair are the ones that lift you up that step. And that's why this exercise is such a powerful training tool. It builds strength exactly where you need it for real life. And once your legs learn that controlled upward push again, you'll notice how much easier stair climbing becomes. I've seen seniors in their 70s and 80s regain the ability to go upstairs, not by climbing them repeatedly, but by mastering this one simple controlled exercise at home. It's also excellent for improving circulation and joint lubrication. The gentle pressure and release help move fluid through your knees and hips, keeping them supple and reducing stiffness. The science of strength renewal. Modern research beautifully supports this ancient wisdom. A 2021 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that performing sit-to-stand exercises daily for just 4 weeks improved lower body power by over 25% in participants over 65. Even more impressive, they also reported less joint pain and better confidence in walking. Isn't that remarkable? You see, your body doesn't lose its ability to build strength. It just needs the right kind of stimulus, the kind that respects its limits while gently pushing them. And what's lovely is that you don't need a gym, fancy equipment, or expensive trainers. All you need is a chair, a bit of patience, and faith that your body remembers how to thrive. Progress without pressure. If you're starting today, begin gently. Perhaps 2 or 3 repetitions, then rest. Over the weeks, work toward doing 10. What matters most is quality, slow, controlled movement that engages your body and your breath. And please don't rush your progress. Healing is not a race, it's a relationship with your body. Talk to it kindly, listen to its limits, and celebrate even the smallest improvement. Because every time you rise from that chair, you're not just standing, you're choosing strength over surrender. How these 3 exercises work together. Now you might be wondering, why just these 3? Because they form a perfect circle of movement. The heel lift strengthens the foundation, improving circulation and stability from the ground up. The standing knee lift reconnects the body's balance system, strengthening the thighs and retraining coordination. And the sit to stand movement restores the power you need for daily life, walking, standing, and climbing stairs. When practiced together, even for just 15 minutes a day, they gently rebuild the full chain of strength from your toes to your hips, and they do it safely without strain, without rushing. This is what makes them so powerful. They work with your body, not against it. You don't have to do them all at once. Some days, just the heel lift will be enough. Other days, you'll feel ready for more. Listen to your body's rhythm. It knows what it needs. Overcoming the fear of falling. One of the greatest fears many seniors carry, though few like to admit, is the fear of falling. That fear often leads to hesitation, and hesitation leads to stiffness. And stiffness is exactly what makes falls more likely. So let's replace fear with familiarity. When you practice these exercises regularly, you're not only strengthening your legs, you're retraining your reflexes. You're teaching your body how to catch itself, how to stabilize again. It's the same principle used in balance therapy, gentle repetition, safe movement, slow rebuilding, and it works. A woman once told me, "Barbara, I've been afraid of my own staircase for years." She had fallen once, and since then she'd avoid the upper floor of her own home. We worked together for several months, slowly building her confidence with these exercises. The day she walked up her stairs again, she called it her return to freedom. That, dear friends, is the power of movement, not just to heal, but to restore trust in ourselves, caring for your joints along the way. As you rebuild leg strength, remember to care for your joints as well. Movement itself helps. It keeps the synovial fluid, the natural lubricant in your joints, flowing. But hydration is equally vital. Water is the oil of your body's machinery. Without enough of it, your tissues become dry and less elastic, making movement feel stiff or painful. So sip water regularly throughout your day. Also, keep an eye on inflammation, not just in your joints, but in your entire lifestyle. Simple dietary habits like reducing processed sugars and increasing anti-inflammatory foods such as turmeric, ginger, leafy greens, and olive oil can make a world of difference. When your inner environment is calm, your joints respond with flexibility and ease. The heart-leg connection. One thing that many people don't realize is how closely the health of your legs is tied to your heart. When your calf muscles contract during movements like the heel lift, they push blood back toward your heart, helping circulation and reducing the workload on your veins. And that's why people who walk regularly tend to have healthier cardiovascular systems. Movement keeps the blood flowing freely, prevents pooling, and nourishes every cell. So when you move your legs, you're also taking care of your heart. And what a beautiful thought that is, one part of your body helping another in perfect cooperation. How to make it a daily habit. The real secret isn't in the exercises themselves, it's in consistency. The Japanese doctor's secret wasn't hidden in a complex fitness plan, it was hidden in simplicity. He would do his exercises at the same time each morning, just after he brushed his teeth. It became part of his routine, as natural as breathing. I encourage you to do the same. Link your exercises to a daily habit, perhaps before breakfast, after tea, or while listening to the morning news. You don't need to dedicate hours. 10 to 15 minutes a day is enough to awaken your circulation, strengthen your foundation, and bring back the ease of movement you may have thought was gone forever. The body loves rhythm. When you move regularly, it adapts beautifully. Now, before we close, let me remind you of something I tell every senior I've ever worked with. It's never too late. The body has an incredible ability to heal, even after years of inactivity or pain. Your muscles can regrow, your joints can regain mobility, and your balance can return, all through consistent, loving attention. One of the most inspiring people I've ever met was an 84-year-old man who began these very exercises after a small fall. He told me, "Barbara, I just wanted to be able to climb my garden steps again." 6 months later, not only was he doing that, but he was also back tending to his vegetables, moving easily and happily each morning. This moment, this simple awareness of your body is where healing begins. You don't need to chase youth or strength. They're already within you, quietly waiting to be awakened. And each gentle movement you make today is an act of gratitude, a thank you to your body for carrying you all these years. And so tomorrow morning, when you rise from bed, start with kindness. Stretch your legs, lift your heels, march slowly, and rise from your chair with purpose. Do it not as a chore, but as a celebration, a small gift to yourself for the life you still have to live. And remember, movement is not just exercise, it's a declaration of life. Stay strong, stay hopeful, and take each step knowing that your body and your spirit are capable of far more than you might believe.
If this video helped you understand how to do that, please give it a thumbs up. It truly helps others find this important information. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay healthy.